Good evening, good afternoon, good day, depending on where you're at. And of course, oh dear. There's sound. Hope everyone is well. Happy Sunday. Getting ready to start off the new week. We had a fantastic stream from Murph last night. Well, it was last night for me, this morning for our European friends. So here we are in Exeter. The mic was in the eye. So, we're here in Exeter. We're going to travel on our way to across the southern coast of England, across the channel, and dive into France a little bit. So I hope everyone is well. Ben McClure's in the chat. Good to see you. Allison Johnson, hello, hello. Hopefully your sound issue. That's very odd. Hope it gets sorted out. Warhamster's in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Good evening, Kingsman. Hope you're well. So we're just doing a little bit of a casual flight this evening. Chilled Corky is in the chat. Good to see you. Hope you're well. We're just getting ready and sorted here. We're running few clouds. It's just about 7:30 in the morning in the sim. Indeed we are, Goblin. Specifically to the Normandy region. Jay Whitaker is in the house. Thankfully it's not sacked with wind and fog, so we can cross the channel. And hopefully see some fantastic views while we're there. So Exeter is not too far from a pottery, and a pottery airfield is where the paratroopers of the U.S. 101st Airborne departed, as depicted in Band of Brothers. So, for a little bit of history, might try to wander up and see if we can see the airfield baked into the scenery. So yeah, the channel coast is socked in with rain and fog. No jump tonight, but we've only got a few clouds and light winds, so I think we will be good as we 100% Kingsman. So we're in the old reliable Skyhawk tonight because you know what? It's just a fun little plane to fly. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get in the cockpit and get rolling. So mixture goes to full, throttle is cracked. We're gonna go ahead and set our trim for takeoff. Alternator and battery masters on. We turn the beacon on. Parking brake set. And we out the window clear prop. Let that stabilize a minute. And we want the engine to idle between 900 and 1000 RPM. Turn on our avionics, turn on our taxi and nav lights. Go ahead and turn on our transponder. Gonna wait for our autopilot to get up and running. Gonna double check our altimeter setting, directional gyro. There's autopilot, so we're going to set it for 2,500. 2,000. No. Thank you. So we'll have that ready to go. We'll have to import or input the info for vertical speed and nav mode. We'll put this on GPS right off the bat. So I hope everyone is well. I'd like to thank everybody for showing support during yesterday's SimWings event. It was fantastic. The views in Chile were phenomenal. And I just want to give my utmost gratitude, or convey my utmost gratitude to everyone that showed up and supported myself specifically. And yeah, and the SimWings project, fantastic organization. They raised over, I think, just over $1,300, and they were able to announce their next recipient. As Draco is in, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Hope you're staying warm. So we're gonna turn some lightage on, because it's not nighttime, but it's still kind of... Alright, ooh, we got a goose with us. Awesome. So we'll hit that, hit that. Love the goose. Good to hear, Draco. You just twitched today because I woke up kind of late, because I was up kind of late watching Murphy's early morning, late night, depending on where you're at, stream. He went live at about 2 a.m. Eastern time. So I ended up flying along. We flew around Vegas. Got to fly the Fiat G91 for a little while. It was fun. So we're getting close to the runway. We're just going to throw on the strobes, turn off the taxi light, turn on the landing light. Yes. So yeah, it was a late night, but it was a lot of fun. Swap my audio Bluetooth on, and there you go. So we're just gonna back taxi on the runway a little bit. So, hope you're all well. I've been playing with some settings to hopefully make the sim a bit more stable. I got the sleeping from Twitch. That alert has been silenced. Yeah, it is a little weird there, Allison. Yeah, to have your own personal goose like that, that'd be phenomenal. Oh, slow her down, slow her down. So we're gonna wander over this way to turn around properly. Almost sounds like there's some sort of signal interference. So we're going to take off on runway 26. Okay, mixture's full. We're lined up straight on the runway. Going to slowly introduce throttle. to get rolling. See, 45, 50 knots, 55, 1 notch of flaps coming down, 60 knots, and we're off. Now we're going to try to maintain 80 knots on climb. Wait till we get to about 300 feet and flaps will go up. 300 feet, flaps are coming up. There's the Goosenator. We'll start a casual left-hand turn. So we'll circle the field a few times. Gain a little bit of altitude. As Sim Aviation Erling is now following on Twitch. Many thanks, my friend. Hope you're well. We're just taking off out of Exeter. Eastern USA. Should be. As per normal. The M5 that's the M5 below. Nice. There is the goose. Mother goose, mother goose. Very nice. No worries, Erling. Happy to have you along regardless. Hope you enjoy the flight as we explore a little bit of the southern coast of Britain and then the northern coast of France as we cross the channel. Aiming for 2,500, which we're probably already getting close to that. So we'll go ahead and seems like everybody's up. So we'll hit that, hit nav mode, vertical speed set to 500 feet a minute. We're already almost there, which is fine. Start trimming out the mixture a little bit. Roger that, Allison. Going to jump in and catch up in a few. We'll fly with only the Logitech Judgment. No panels today. Roger that. I forgot to turn that little notification off. Whoopsie doodle. So we've hit 2,500, so we're going to dial back the engine power to 2,500, well, 2,400 RPMs. Very shittily. There we go. And we look back on the Fireflies. Just go to the dashboard. Let's see how I can do that very quickly. We'll make this simple. Paste. Live editing of the channel. You saw it here first, folks. As saw no one but magic you appeared. Huzzah! Money says that that's Hammy. Looking spiffy in the U.S. Navy livery, we're gonna hide me. You don't need to see my face when we can look at the scenery. This fantastic scenery here in the southern coast of England. Scenery here is not too dissimilar from here in Michigan. Lots of green, lots of trees. Just segmented a little differently. Here in Michigan we have the GA flying here in Michigan is actually pretty easy because most of the land segments, I don't know if segments is really the right word, but the divisions of land, like you see like plots here, there. In Michigan, most of it's fairly well done in squares or rectangles with north-south lines on them. So it's somewhat easy to navigate where you're at in Michigan, which is rather helpful. So we're getting close to Bournemouth, I think. Although that may be a little bit of too early of a presumption, which it probably is, which is fine. That's okay. Look at that. Look at the state of that, though. I need to come over here. East USA, Kingsman. Bournemouth. Ooh, someone's in a cap 10. Nice. Rambling in on the 6th. Awesome, Fly Daring. Good to see you. Bro 6505 is in. Good to see you. Lime Regis below. Nice. Hope everyone is having a fantastic Sunday, or at the very least as fantastic as it can be. Well, there you go. France beat Ireland in rugby. Nobody tell Mrs. Two-Tone. Very nice. It's always more fun to watch as a spectator when the match is close in any competition. Break. Very nice. Well, I got that working. Let's try something else. We are flying to our first stop at Echo Golf Hotel Juliet, which is an island that I can't rightly recall off the top of my head. Near Sandown Isle of Wight. Chesil Beach off to the right, one of 3 large shingle beaches, and nice. Don't mind the weird block. On the screen. I'm pressing buttons. Hey, I got it working. I'll be darned. Boy, that's been frustrating. I've been to that beach with a small hammer, didn't find what I was looking for. Oh dear. See what you did there, though. There we go. Huzzah! I fixed it! I can do a thing. Let's see, there's some beautiful parts of the... Absolutely. Fossils. They fall out of the... Oh, really? That's awesome. Yeovil to the north. Weymouth to the south. Awesome. I'm just happy I fixed the Sim Toolkit Pro stuff. It's been bothering me for a minute. That's a good question. I don't know, and so far I don't have name tags on, so I couldn't tell you who it is. It is a name that I've seen pop up before. Getting a number of odd stutters. I think I have an idea of what the cause is, but not much I can do about it right at the exact moment. There are lots of name tags in the distance, but you should know how many there are in North Europe, right? Well, being on the East US server, I wouldn't see them even if I had them on. But I do not currently have the name tags enabled. As it seems like, maybe it's just the shadow, but it almost seems like the Isle of Wight is getting nearer. It's lovely countryside. And the golden hour is just stunning in the sim. Sun rises and sun sets. I do not know. At least not off the top of my head. Good call, Hammy. See, and that's the wonderful thing about the communities. We're all here to help. As Roger75 rolls in, good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Happy Sunday. We're flying in the south of England right at the moment, on the way to the Isle of Wight. And from there we will cross the channel into northern France. We're about halfway on our very first leg. Tadeo, chucks away. Watch us, Lita. But wait, one of the most hated monsters in old school Dungeons and Dragons. The White Dragons, yes. They're quite the nemesis. The chromatic dragons are nothing to be trifled with. The white was an yeah. It's beautiful. So we're just about over Bournemouth. En route to the Isle of Wight. Fly Darren soon going over Sandbanks, some of the most expensive properties in the UK. Ooh. Chilcorky Pool. I don't know if we can play billiards in Flight Sim yet. The little island in the bay is Brownsea Island, the location of the first large scouting event. Ooh. Pool, the home of the British. Aha. There you go. So I'm playing completely stock, no add-ons. I don't know how I feel right now. Sometimes it almost feels like flying naked. Like, I don't have all these things. Where'd they go? I need them in my life. I know the feeling. So we're getting oh so close. Once I get down, I'll get out and start recording some landings. Then from there, I'll pull a Murphy and restart the sim. So it's a Tuesday with the X and the kids. Nice. Yeah, I'd love to visit, the UK and Ireland at some point when the world gets back to some semblance of normal. Yeah, isn't it pool with the Seal Sanctuary? Noel here is late to the party, but that's okay. We'll join you at Bembridge. Have to join as I've done this route in real life. Will be interesting to see in the sim. Nice. Glad you could make it. There's no such thing as late. You arrived exactly when you needed to. 100% Kingsman. I'll take you up on that when I can make it over that way. You can count on it. Because, you know, if I can make it over there, we've got to have a Fireflies meetup. Because, well, I'd be over there and it's not something I'm often able to do. For sure. For sure. You know, I'm all about exploring the landscape, seeing what it is. Anything outside of London is fair game. Because I want to explore. I want to see the real Ireland and UK. Picking up some candy floss. I'll see what I can do. Look at that. And just the fact that you can see currents is just mind blowing. So you can see Isle of Wight coming up. Uh-oh, what happened to Hammy? Money says Hammy's either typing, going to get a beer, or going to the loo. Typing, haha. 100% Hammy. Figured it had to be one of three things. Six feet. Well, at least last I knew you were in the goose, so at least if you were over water, you'd be okay. Now, just imagine if we were on Join FS, I could make us all look like Spitfires, and that would be epic. It'd look a little funny on landing because, you know, tail wheel versus tricycle gear, but it'd be cool nonetheless. So up to the aha. Fair enough, Hammy. Yeah, and from what I understand, it has one more week of beta testing, and should everything be fine at the end of the beta test, so next weekend per se, it should be sent off for release. So we could have a Spitfire here within a week. Well, not within a week, in approximately a week or two, provided all the beta testing goes well. So here, keep your fingers crossed, knock on some wood. And speaking of luck, today on the Maritime Horrors channel, Azimuth released a video of a superstitious sailor video about cats. It's a fun little video. You might learn something. So, yeah. Definitely looking forward to a Spitfire, though, because, I mean, it's Spitfire. What more do you need to say? We can have all kinds of Battle of Britain fun. Thanks, Mr. Winokur, for putting a link to the chat. Mr. Winokur and I, and a friend, myself, and another one of our friends have been testing out a new early access, well, not new, but an early access game made by some of the former developers of the original Rainbow Six games, and it's actually quite fun. So if you have any interest in that type of game, you can check out Mr. Winokur's channel. It's called Ground Branch, although I have a tendency to call it Tree Limb. Tonight he'll be testing out I believe it's basically the test servers for new content tonight on his channel. So if you have any interest in that style of game, be sure to check it out as Jan Moorkamp is in. How you doing, my friend? Cool building off the left wing. If I could get my correct wingage. I don't know. Yeah, no, the Honda Point video was fantastic. Such a calamity that was. There's a little farm strip down there. Yep. Doing well, Jen. How are you, my friend? Now, it was one of those situations where new technology was out and people weren't sure of its reliability, and it turned out that it was pretty darn reliable. Here we are, so we're now over the Isle of Wight. We'll be landing here at Bembridge here shortly. We're going to land on runway 30. Gives us the smaller cross wind coefficient and more of a headwind. Glamping. Posh tent with an open fire. Interesting. Well, beer's good. Sounds like you're in a pretty awesome situation there, Hammy. So this is by far the longest leg of our trip today. Kind of excited for Maritime Hoarders to do some videos on events in the English Channel. From London, it's a 2.5-hour drive and a short trip ferry to get over. Nice. Shaney Train, also known as Ed Reed, is in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. Got a pair of Cap 10s in the flight. You join us as we're over the Isle of Wight, landing at Bembridge. Bembridge? Was? Yes, Bembridge. Aha. Ooh, that would be fun. I mean, a hovercraft's no Higgins boat, but it's probably a whole lot more comfortable, too. So we'll overfly, line up for runway 30. We'll go ahead and kill our autopilot. Take over the flying by handage. Kind of go to the right a little bit. So the airfield is somewhere in this vicinity. As we stare directly into the sun and bake our brains a little bit. Okay, mixture is going to rich. I'm going to start dialing back the power a little bit. Trim to compensate. It's a wild two-tone Murphy. I got a few hours of sleep, and I was still managed to get everything I needed done. So huzzah! Hope you're well, Murph. Hope you had a good Sunday. See, Warhamster, I forgot. I have some boating scenery for these waters. I have lots of big ships in view, as there should be. The English Channel is rammed with shipping. Nice. Yeah, I've seen that, and I haven't looked into it yet. Too much or too far, but it looks fantastic. So we're going to keep an eye on the left side. It looks like our airfield is coming up right there. So we'll reduce power even further to about 1700 RPM. We'll use our trim to keep the nose up and keep the speed down. Getting us into the white arc on the airspeed indicator. Camera on for dramatic and instructional effect. So we need to trim up a little bit more. Okay, airfield is right there. Interesting fact, this isle held a suite of observation stations, radar, and wireless transmitters during World War II, and was frequently bombed by the opposing force. Nice. Makes sense. It's in a good spot for it. It seems some fireflies are already coming down. Okay, we're in the white arc, so one notch of flaps coming down. And drop to 1600 RPM. Manage the trim. So we're kind of on a wide pattern, which is A-OK. Reduce power a little bit more. Can trim down a little bit more. As now we're getting some sun glare. That didn't help a whole lot either. Okay, second notch of flaps coming down. So almost on final. We're real high, so we're gonna last notch of flaps. We're going to drop power low. Start pitching down. Not a long runway. I've tried landing on the ships. They're not said, oh dear. How dare they not make the ship solid? Okay, we're gonna go to idle throttle to drop. Ooh, CTD for Allison. My sympathies. That's odd. I'm gonna blame the server. So we've got idle throttle. We're at 70 knots inbound on final. Right over the displaced threshold. There's the numbers. We're going to start our rollout. Ooh, 32 per minute. Very nice. Ooh, generic EXE error. So we're gonna go ahead and get parked up off to the side here, see if we can catch some landings. So, oh, traffic. Traffic. Nameplate. Save, resume. Ooh, we got quite a bit. Fly Darren's in, Jen Morecamp's in, Draco's in, Hammy is inbound. Nice job thus far, Fireflies. It's a cozy little airfield, isn't it? Will hide me. For sure, Allison. 100%. I've had to dial back. I've dialed back my sim settings from what I can run to something a little lower, and so far it's helping. We'll load in there. Roger that. There's USA PR1 in the Finanza. Ooh, a little windy. Another inbound. There's Rogers. There's Druid. I know I saw Sean Ligaman. There we go. Well, we're not going to run into the windsock. So we'll taxi back to runway 30. Man, there's a lot more. It's a lot hillier than it looks on the Bing Maps image. I'm going to load in again to be safe. Don't worry, I'll catch it. No worries. We'll try not to run into these lights. It's like a Robin or generic. It's a generic. Yeah, that's one plane I have not yet flown in the sim is the Robin D400. Is it the D400 or DR400? Either way, I haven't flown it yet. It seems like a nice little airplane. So we've paid for the whole runway, so we're going to use the whole runway. around. Get ready, give everybody else a little bit of room. To ramble on down to the active. Get set there, check the barometer, check the directional gyro. The French school plane is the DR400. It is DR400. Yeah, I'll have to check it out one of these days. It hasn't been one of the planes that I've checked out yet. I love my Cessna, and it's hard to break away from it. I can't quit you. Alright, so mixture goes to full, and we slowly introduce throttle into the engine. Murph is exhausted from the early rise. Totally understand, my friend. There's 60 knots. Nice smooth takeoff. We wait to get to about 300 feet. Try to climb at about 70 to 80 knots. Nice. Good call. I approve. It's 300 feet, so flaps are coming up. We'll start our left turn to orbit while the Fireflies get up in the air. Oh, for sure. Especially the steam gauge one. And it just looks Isle of Wight looks like a nice place to Didn't really know where I was going with the rest of that. It just looks like a nice place. That's a cozy little airport, I must say. It seems our Fireflies are up for the most part. So we'll pop into the cockpit, activate our autopilot, get on nav mode. And we start on our way across the channel. There's an odd looking building. Wonder what that is. Looks like it could be a former radar station. It's up on top of a hill on an island on the channel, so that seems reasonable. So go ahead and hide me. Aha, Benbridge Fort. So we'll dial it back to 2400 RPM on the old enginator. Dial back the mixture here. Brazen Heads in the chat. Good to see you. We're here. We just took off from the Isle of Wight on our way across the English Channel to check out France, or at least northern France. Now, I'm probably going to butcher it, but we're on our way to Cherbourg. Cherbourg? Over in France, which is on a peninsula. That is the site of our next landing. Cherbourg. Resistance is futile. And looking at Bing Maps, I can easily see Saint Mary Glees, Carentan, and Cherbourg is near Saint Pierre Église. I approve. So as we look back on the Isle of Wight and the Fireflies, as we begin our trek in the 172 over the English Channel. Beautiful sunny morning in over the channel. We have some blinky lights up ahead to the left. Look, just to see the currents, that is a nice detail to me. It's fantastic. We'll show that now. No. No, not so registration. There we go. Pushing more buttons. Jane Whitaker says there was an epic naval versus shore battle off Cherbourg. USS Nevada, USS Texas, and USS Arkansas had a duel with German shore batteries, amongst other vessels. Nice. Well, Darren took the walkout so I could try my washing on the lanes. There you go. Hey, it's all about the multitasking. It's that efficiency. Efficiency is an important thing. So we have an F-15 with us. The way they do the water in flight, it looks like wind. It's the currents. They actually found a way to replicate the water's currents, which I don't know how, but it looks amazing. Oh, I'd absolutely bet there, Mr. Winokur. I found my socks back there. Pick them up. Just make sure your socks don't get sucked into the F-15, because that's going to cause a lot of... Yeah, no autopilot in the Waco. I can only assume it's hammy. I was having a tough time keeping the speed low in the Fiat G91 when Murphy was in the Seminole. The Fiat G91 does not want to be under 140 knots and still fly. Now that's precision flying if I've ever seen it. The F-15C model. I certainly have. %. Yeah, the Waco is just a wonderful little airplane. They really did a very good job on it. It takes some doing to fly a jet that wants to go fast, slow. That is no small task. And there goes the afterburners. Roger that, Mr. Winokur. Oh, don't hit the water. Uh-oh. Hammy did a spin in the F-15. I think we need to send the Coast Guard out. That was a full spin. Oh dear. Well, there's a first time for everything, Hammy. Going 6 feet above the water. Hammy was testing out the U.S. Navy version of the F-15 that doubles as a submarine. So as we're almost losing the Isle of Wight on the horizon, it's all about science. We've yet to pick up France in front of us on the horizon. That's all right. Look at the state of that. It's always fun to do these flights with you all, so I'm very happy you've come along. It actually makes me happy that it can spin, which means more work has gone into it than it. Yeah, and they were going to release an update on Friday, this past Friday, but they were making good progress on a new sound system, so they decided to delay it until later this week, with some more overhaul and enhancements and additions to it. So they're definitely supporting the product and tweaking it and making it better, which is always fantastic to see. So I'm looking forward to what their update has in store for it. Outside of just the new sound system. Nothing like some formation flying in Skyhawks. Look at me, I can fly slow, splash. Well, at least he did it over the water, because realistically the chances of survival were a lot better. The water, depending on what angle you hit it at, can be much more absorbent than the, or much more of a cushion than, hard ground. Now that there is a postcard. And Mr. Winokur's back. Fantastic. Haven't seen any progress out of Aeroplane Heaven on either their Spitfire or DC-3. Really looking forward to those. I believe once the DC-3 comes out, or it gets released, that'll be worth another trip. Except with that, it's going to be a lot faster, so we'll probably be able to do the round trip. Fly over France, turn around and head back to England. And zoom zoom. This is just such a fantastic sim. They really did a phenomenal job with it. I mean, just the subtle details of, you know, the currents in the water, the reflection of the clouds in the water, the lighting engine. There's just so much wonderful stuff that they added to this. It's just superb. And I'm running it on fairly medium settings. So I can only imagine what it looks like more decked out. I could read. Oh, there's any number of things we could do with the DC-3. Mr. Winokur and I know a guy that was a part of the Berlin airlift. He's a World War II vet and flew missions for the Berlin airlift. In fact, he's an active World War II reenactor, even at his age, in his 90s, which is just phenomenal. The dude's a legend. His nickname in the reenacting community here is Hollywood, because he still knows how to take a hit on the reenactment battlefield. And he makes it look good for the crowd. Land ahoy, says Allison. Land ahoy for sure. Hello, France. Requesting permission to land. He sure is, Winokur. Mr. Chippy is in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Yes, indeed, Brazen. Got to get that saxophone playing. Allison Johnson is a legend with the gifted subs on the channel. Generosity is just phenomenal, and I'm humbled. That's awesome. Yeah, Hollywood. He's such a good guy. I think he usually wields the carbine. Look at that. We're inching oh so much closer to France. We can see the peninsula very well now. We'll see what we can do. That makes sense, Mr. Winokur. I've dotted all the T's and crossed all the I's, so I hope that works. Are prepared for the greatest. Oh, can we ever really prepare? I mean, I'm basically a shut-in at this point anyway. I mean, the max temperature today currently is 16 degrees Fahrenheit, which I think is round about minus 8 C. And that's without the wind chill. Let's see. Let's pull up a METAR for my hometown. My hometown. So the temperature here is currently minus 9.4 centigrade, with a dew point of minus 15 centigrade, with a pressure of 30.35 inches. Or 1027.9 millibars. Enemy coast ahead. That is the title of the book of the Commandant of the Dambus. Ha. Woo! 7 to 9 inches by Tuesday. That's quite the dump. Yeah, probably. Well, you're probably going to get less than I am because here on the west side of the state, we get more lake effect than you guys do. So, you got that going for you. The F-15's back. No wing tanks, no stores. He certainly is. We've recovered it from the channel very quickly. Normandy was snowy last week. Ooh. Yeah, trying to fly something like that this slow is not a simple task. Um, I would suggest 2-8 because we have light winds out of the west. So we'll aim for runway 28. So we'll pop back. Ooh. Don't forget to check your fuel when we get landed. I'll likely restart the sim for sure this time, just to be sure. It got really quiet. So, oh dear. There you go. There's afterburners away. So the airport should be in this general vicinity. We'll fly over and loop around left for... Yes! For a landing on runway 28. Aha! So first was starting in Calais. And this is the second time in the Waco. Nice. It's a fantastic little airplane. It's even better with VR. So we're almost over the coast now. Gonna make sure that our directional gyro is corrected. It certainly seems to be. I think it's right here. Maybe. Could be wrong. I could very easily be wrong. I'm usually wrong. Once I got it figured out, it's all about setting the trim. It's usually... Aha! Fair enough. That might be it right there. Yeah. So I can see the parking spots. So, yeah, we'll overfly, turn left, and come in for a straight in. We got a Firefly down there. So we'll reset the camera view. We're going to get into our virtual high chair. We're going to camera on for dramatic effect. Uh, I have the feeling that it's a military airport, but I could be wrong. It may have been military at one point or another at the very least. So we're going to go ahead and turn off the autopilot. We're going to set the mixture to full, and we're going to go down to about 2,000 RPM for initial descent. We'll trim up to bleed off speed. Yeah. That's my line of thinking of why it may have been at the very least former military, or at the very or possibly even a joint use between military and civilian aviation. Because we've got this area here and this area here. Goblin says no visibility in real weather. I believe it. They're not hardened, they've just seen a lot. So we're going to go ahead and reduce power even more to about 1700 RPM. Air Force. Aha! Look at the fields of France. I've flown in a few times, never seen any military very friendly aero club though. Nice. So that just kind of reinforces that I believe this is probably, it was military at some point, because that's a very military way to lay out spots like that, but it is not currently military. So that I have a feeling that it was at the very least former military. So we're gonna reduce power a little bit more. Bocage Noman. Engine power a little bit down. And use our trim to go up as we enter the downwind for 2.8. Looking for heading of 100. Be on the reciprocal of 2.8. We're in the white arc, so notch of flaps comes down. Seem to be having some sort of issue. Very odd issue. Ooh, this isn't good. Ooh, we're having major issues. So I think we're back from whatever that was. As far as temps, I don't rightly know. That was highly unusual. But we're working on getting things rolling again. That was a really strange problem. I'm headed to more TV for the rest of the stream. Hoping, yeah. Thanks for coming along, Jan. Hope you enjoyed. It was until we had the major interruption. That was very odd. It literally locked me pretty well out of everything. I had to do a forced reboot. I can't say for sure, Mr. Chippy. All I know is that both my screens just kind of went gobbledygook, and I've only had it since the November drivers. It's only happened twice. This is the second time it's ever happened. I'm not even overclocking or anything. But it's only been an issue since the November 18th drivers, and that's the version I'm using right now. So that's the only thing I can say. I've not been a big fan of the November drivers. They put them out for yeah, there's opening the window and it's, almost minus 10 centigrade out, and I'd rather not freeze even if it means a cooler computer. I have turned off the space heater that was only directed at my feet and not remotely near my tower. Interesting. Who knows? Worst case to worst, I will try the October drivers. Should I be able to find them? Previous driver. Like the latest good drivers might actually be from September 20.9.1. I've upgraded mine to February of 2021 drivers with better results. Interesting. Yeah, I had those and I was having major problems. So I went back. Saw an F-15 and a Pitts land together. It could very well be. So we're just playing the waiting game on Flight Sim. You have a good night, Chill Corky. Happy to have you along. Hope you enjoyed the stream and the flight. We'll catch you on Discord and the next stream for sure. Well, I really like the way you can add fuel pods and weapons. Yeah, no, that was their workaround for not having stores and stuff, but be able to have what you want and not have a static, and it works out quite well. I guess I should have restarted the sim when we were on the Isle of Wight, huh? Been strongly considering investing in some new CPU fans. So if anybody has some recommendations that would help with some air cooling of a tower, I'm all ears so long as they're in reasonable price range. Few clouds, right? On the far. See. I just noticed for the first time when you drop a tank on. Yeah. Why you do this, Sim? I don't do it that way. Right here, add 5. Why you gotta be like this, Sim? I don't want to do that. Fine. You know what? We're gonna fly it manual like. Because the flight planner in Microsoft Flight Sim is not great. Let's see, real weather, it's raining, fans are always good. My TI 1050, yeah. Well, I'm looking for the case fans, Noctua fans, and they're somewhat reasonable. Noctua's not been cheap from what I'm looking more for, a little lower than that. Noctua has a reputation of being, good fans, but maybe I'm misinformed. Well, I'd like to ideally replace all of them, which I have 6 case fans. 5 case fans, 4 on intake, 1 on exhaust. Yeah, $20 each? No, that's way too bloody much. Well, it's got a window in it, but it's plastic, polycarbonate, or whatever it is. I'm a big fan of Arctic cooling. Gotcha. And that's another CTD. Yeah, so did mine, Kingsman. And find my bloody mouse. Well, that didn't take long. All right, Flight Sim, what you doing? I'd rather get is from what research I've done, positive pressure helps eliminate dust inside of the uh, case, whereas negative pressure will just is more conductive to having more dust in the case. Yeah, I've done that, Murph. I cleared those out, so we'll see if it works. Yeah, Kingsman, because this is getting old very quickly. So sorry for the delay in the trip there, everyone. Not much I can do about it. At least at the moment. Think tomorrow during the day I'm going to take some time. I've got a new hard drive to install anyway, but take some time to maybe take apart my PC and do a little bit of cleaning. It's fair enough, Allison. Don't blame me at all. I feel like I'm off-centered, but I'm not. Very much centered. The yoke centered on the monitor, and I'm centered on the yoke. Feels like something's off. Switch everything off. I mean, I'm off center on the camera. That's an OBS thing. That's something I can adjust. Ooh, spooky. Thanks, Logitech. Think they would have servers give. It seems like they've got a lot of issues going on between the update and it being delayed practically a month. Then they got another sim update, and there's a lot going on. All 230 Q-tips and a Hoover. Yep. Yeah, so I'm gonna take some time to do some spring cleaning, even though it's not quite spring yet, on the old PC tomorrow. Now they need to figure something out. If there is. Wait, I didn't type that. That's new. It may not be the infrastructure itself. It's the. I think it's the way Asobo does things where they'll edit stuff, but it affects the live servers in some fashion, and I think that's an inefficiency in and of itself. It seems like having things cloud-based and having all the updates, it just, when you make changes on the back end, it somehow affects the front end, and which causes problems. So I think there's something goofy in that dynamic. I mean, I don't know anything about software engineering or what have you. That's just a guess from some idiot in Michigan. But that's the way it seems to me. Either way, something seems like could be fixed, but I couldn't say for certain. Like I said, I'm just some idiot in Michigan speculating. I just call me Sergeant Schultz because I know nothing. Rival. See how it goes this time. So yeah, well, that's weird. A French airport is definitely not in the UK. I think the world would implode if you know, if that were the case. I'm your king. I didn't vote for you. Okay. So, parking brake set. Fuel. Mixture. Throttle. Trim. Sim. Camera. Dashboard. Disconnect. Connect. Connect. Okay, so mags, beacon, or masters, beacon, starter. For idle, lean mixture slightly, avionics. Parking brake released. Yeah, for sure, Kingsman. I'm right there with you, brother. Alright. Ooh, there's an F-15 waiting and an F-15 landing. Nice. So it seems either if you're not already airborne, go ahead and get rolling. Here's the whole short line. Landing light comes on, taxi light off, strobe light on. We're just gonna scooch our way. Mixture goes to rich. Slowly introduce power into the engine. There's 50 knots, 55, 1 notch of flaps, 60 knots, and we're airborne. Terribly sorry about the delay of game, everyone. So, we're going to actually make a right turn. We're going to pretty well fly as low as we can. Ish. Within reason. Sort of. It's most everyone's probably off and gone. So we'll go ahead and set cruise power for right now. We're gonna fly down the coast. And see the sights. I've been wanting to do this for a minute. definitely not socked in with rain and fog. But I've wanted to do this little trip since I think it was with the USA World Update that they uh, did a global adjustment on the water mask. What was I saying? Ah, yes. I think they adjusted the global mask in water mask in the world update for the U.S. And so, thusly, I've been interested in the checking this out because it seemed like they just got the water mask a little too far inland for the Normandy beaches because it looks fantastic and you look at the satellite imagery, but in sim it's just like all the beach was gone. Pardon me. Well, hello. Could be that if yeah. So I've want bottom line is I've wanted to see how it was adjusted or how the adjustment looks in the sim because I haven't gotten around to checking it out. It could be unchanged. It could be much better. I don't know. So we're definitely trying to keep an eye on the shoreline. I might be a little further north than that just yet. Yeah, I'm not quite towards the that bay because I think Utah was up in this section right here because there's the inlet bay area. Omaha was over here. And if I remember correctly, Utah was more cliffy than Omaha. Omaha was the wide open beach. That's a shame. Well, we're checking it out anyway, so there. Hey, golf course. How about that? Couple of islands out there to the left. So we're going to get down low. Yeah. From what I understand, the next world update is France. France and something. Saint Mary Église. Okay, we're going to lower power so we can drop some altitude. The water mask for the UK and Ireland is like everywhere has a spring tide. Okay, let's do this because we can. Well, hopefully some of that's remedied in the big update that's supposed to have happened 3 weeks ago. Well, on the upside, it seems that there's still some beach shown, which is nice. Mart362 is here. Good to see you. What's up? Oh, let's hide. We don't need to see me. We're trying to look at scenery here. So I'm thinking this was more along the lines of where Utah Utah Beach was. I certainly am, Mart. On the East USA server. We're overflying Normandy, France. At the moment. "100% Kingsman." What was the one the Easy Company landed at? Easy Company dropped into St. Mary Glees. This is where it gets confusing because you say Easy Company. I know that you mean the Band of Brothers, but I'm also a part of a 5th Rangers Easy Company reenacting group. Utah was where I believe the 5th Rangers landed. The Easy Company 506 was dropped in near St. Mary Glees. I do have the Waco, and it's a fantastic aircraft. Look at that camera angle. That's kind of neat. Okay, correction. I think the intended drop zone was near St. Mary Glees. It's a radial, but yes, it is a fantastic sound. You're good. Yeah, it's common. Don't worry about it. For Sync Stick was the only one that dropped correctly in the GZ. That's... You would know better than I. Well, actually, with aircraft, back in World War One, the rotary engine was the engines where it spun with the prop. So the engine spun, which helped air cool it. Whereas a radial engine, the engine itself is fixed in place, and the prop spin, only the prop spin. And then you have standard engines that aren't radial engines. We will always be there for 100%. And Wii U. Well, after the update comes out and we have the DC3, you can follow Murph and get lost and land at the wrong place. That sounds like something we can do. Hammy, that's something that we're well qualified to do. Yeah, you can almost see the beach where it should be shown, and it just isn't. Yes, Darren. This is not the way to Tipperary. We're on a trip down memory lane of sorts, and a reminder of those who sacrificed everything to free the world from tyranny in the hopes that it shan't repeat itself, and that we shall remain ever vigilant to fight tyranny wherever it rears its head. And I'm missing the shoreline views. Now we got some cliffy areas here. Because the worst thing we can do is not learn from history. Oh, it looks like they got the cliffs a little bit better. That's something. Kind of weird that there's trees on it, but... That looks like a emplacement of sorts. Need to watch that I'm... Gotcha. So we're coming up on Omaha after the cliffs. I believe it. Point to Hawk. Now, World War One is another. I feel so bad about history is not that many people don't remember World War One as much as they should. I did notice that 1917 is available on Amazon in both digital streaming and other media. And so is They Shall Not Grow Old, which was a documentary from Peter Jackson that used real footage from World War One, and he made it so that it fixed the play speed, sort of, and it made it so much more real. I have not yet seen it, but I intend to watch it because it looks phenomenal and very well made. And from what I understand, Peter Jackson is a big hit World War One buff, and that's, I'd love to visit France to see the Maginot Line, the fields. I think there's still the red zone where there's unexploded ordnance and contaminated ground. There's so much history to see, and we're obligated to learn it so that we can avoid repeating it. Goblin has the map, and that was Point to Hawk. 100% Mart. It's almost odd seeing houses here on the beach side. There's a Waco. Most from number one. Very nice. Treasure those and keep them safe. Well, let's see if we can get a better view. I believe it. Well, in World War One, especially, just with the stalemate that went on for years, just so much happened. Good man, Kingsman. So, the water mask is still slightly iffy, but I think they did a much better job with the cliff lines, or the cliffs, making it much more defined, which is a definite improvement and a welcome improvement. If you need a podcast, listen to check out Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I've heard of that. So we're gonna fly over this town just because we can. There's a big church. That looks very important. It must be Port en Bassin. Bassin? I said my granddad would not talk about. I War is not something easily discussed, and one of the joys of doing World War II reenacting is there's been multiple accounts of veterans that won't talk about the won't even talk about their experience in the war at all. I mean, not a word of it. But when they get in the setting of the reenacting and their the camps and whatnot, they'll tell stories that they've never told before, and it's such a privilege to be able to do that sort of thing and learn those stories. I mean, it's phenomenal. The sacrifices that they went through and made, should always be remembered and cherished. So I believe we've made our way past the main Normandy area. Lest we never forget. Or lest we forget. Well, you've got us. We've got us. You've got us as backup there, Kingsman. Hopefully the streams in the community can help you. That's why we're here. Lived in the village of. In the front there's a bay. There's a huge German batteries there. Longs-sur-Mer. I think where we're landing is right by Cannes. Yeah, no, it's nuts to think of what they went through. Infidel Fireman, good to see you. We are on the East USA server. We just flew past Normandy. We're on our way for the final stop of the evening in Cannes. Don't mind the strange noise. Nothing's broken. Yeah. Well, and back then, PTSD was very misunderstood. And treating it, I mean, even today, there's no one way to treat it, and we're still learning. But it's very misdiagnosed and underdiagnosed even back then. So we have learned to try to be better. Yes. In fact, Patton, I believe it was, got in a lot of trouble for... I think he pistol whipped somebody to get him out of shell shock, and that didn't go over too well. I'm down at LFRC. Great flight. Thanks for the entertainment and knowledge. Happy to have you along, Fly Darren. Glad you enjoyed it. Hope to see you on the Discord and the next flight for sure. You take care. Glad to have you here, Kingsman, and glad that you are here. Discord is a wonderful place where we can talk. I know that on Murphy's channel is kept very, very family friendly, and I try to keep mine too. But by all means, reach out on Discord whenever you need to, and we're there for you. You know, that's the wonderful thing about this community is we care about each other. We're there to take care of each other, and that's just the way it is. You know, we've got folks from all different time zones, so that should help some. So we're getting ready to land at our final destination for the evening. After taking a trip of remembrance of sorts. Oh, 100%. His streams have helped me as well, my friend. And it's been such a great community to get involved with. And you know, the fact that we are all here for each other to help out it's huge. And it means so much to me. Well, happy Valentine's Day, and you know the love is shared. I may not have a Valentine of my very own, but you all in the chat and in the community are my Valentines for the day, and I have great love for all of you. It's this past year and even the course over the course of the release of this, we've become a bit of our own little family, and I'm glad to be involved with everything, and I see us doing great things. 100% Kingsman. Had a really good therapist that I talked to that helped a lot, especially at the same time I was going through a nasty divorce. Couple of that with military stuff. Yeah, I can imagine. It's funny trying to relate what this all means to those who aren't part of it. In an Arnold accent, this is very. We love you too, Murph. Yeah, yeah, we're and big thanks to Murph for being the kind of the point man on the whole community. Just helping give us a place to all come together and giving us all a place where we can, come together and relate and kind of help each other out and be each other's backup. There should be a fuel gauge. I can't rightly recall where it is specifically. Roger that, you found them. Ah, right. We got a floater. Oh, it's only in the last 7-8 years I've really understood mental health. You've just seen the best and the worst. Unfortunately, I get to provide help, or at least get people at least in touch with us. Yeah, 100% Hammy, and that in and of itself is half the battle. Murphy says, we have a fantastic community here, one that actually takes interest in its people. It's awesome to know that whatever life throws in your direction, the Fireflies got your back. It's just, yeah, 100% Murph. 100%. Yeah, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So we need to make a course adjustment. Gonna go to about 060. As I believe we're about to be over Can. Well, the jacket and the hat. So these are my old stripes for my airborne reenacting unit as a tech corporal in the 101st. I have our company CO has seen fit to promote me to staff sergeant. Well, Murph, we can't clean your windows for you. I'm in a completely different continent. I would if I could, but you know, boats and planes and other stuff. Ooh, there's a Waco. Weird audio as the Sims playing the Waco and the Moonies. Interesting. With the Runaway, it doesn't quite fit like it should, but I've got to start working out. Many thanks. Very nice, Draco. What do you mean slow? Ah. Yeah, we're running few clouds just for the sake of visibility. I was having some sound issues with the 182 last night. It was really odd. So I believe we're looking for the Atlanta Nights. Glad to have you along, Noel. You take care of yourself. You have a good evening, and we will catch you in the next stream and on the Discord. Yeah, it seems going inside and outside has a tendency to make it go nuts. Weird. 5 nautical miles out, airport in sight. Yes, that is correct. So we're going to get in here, turn off the AP. Good to hear, Allison. I know you've got an early start tomorrow. Working all. Get in the way of all this flying. Yeah, no. It's a weird sound glitch, and it seems to be something goofy with the way Coronado does their stuff. I'm getting hungry. That recently the Mooney had the 182 engine sound from time to time. Yeah, there's this weird crossover. Yes, runway 30. We will always come back to the flying. It's hard to describe. The glitch it involves it's a glitch. The correct sounds aren't always properly used. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird thing. It's difficult to describe without experiencing it yourself. It may not be the Waco or the Waco, I should say, might be different enough, but there's with the Seminole, the Mooney, and the 182, they all sound kind of glitchy from time to time. Yeah, what Hammy said. So our face cam is on for the dramatic effect as we make our final landing here in France. We're on a downwind. Look at all those trees. Another trip would be interesting to do would be flying over Bastogne. The Ardennes forest. So we're going to reduce power to about 1600 RPM. Now pitch the nose up, getting the white arc, 1 notch of flaps, 2 notches of flaps as we turn to base. Got the runway in sight. Roger that, Winokur. Draco is extending downwind. Putting that final notch of flaps in. We've got a Waco on close final. Going for the numbers. Flaps full. 68, that's not too bad. Savage code with D-date, nice. I think I've got a skin similar to that. With the flaps up, reckless abandonment into the grass. Alright, so they're parking. Turn name tags on. Graphic on. Line save, go back, resume, and insert. Camera. Speed. Here's Warhamster inbound. Will hide me. There's Druid. I may not have the specific one you have. There's Draco. There's Roger RC in the Moody. Many thanks, Kingsman. And it's just waiting on Sean Legoman. Ooh, there's a church. Church. Don't look at the church, watch the landings. Glad you enjoyed it, Allison. Thanks for coming along. The company itself is very welcome. The fact that people are enjoying it is just icing on the cake. So many thanks to all for flying along, for listening to a little bit of history, and having the sheer crack of it all. Ooh, what's this? And there was science. Yeah, bad science. I prefer some very bad science. You have a good night, Kingsman. You take care of yourself, and we'll see you on the Discord and in the next stream. What in the world is this thing? That's a weird looking satellite. Is it a water tower? What in the world is that? That being said, get the old camera position. Turn that back on. Many thanks for coming along with me for the flight. Really appreciate it. Means a lot. And with all the love in my heart thank you for coming along with me on this journey of streaming with the flights and all that. And it's truly a privilege to be a part of the Fireflies and to get to know you all. And, you know, just such a lovely international community that we have, and it's a family. But until next time, be good to each other. Stay safe out there. We'll catch you next time. Take care.